Okay.
Go out. Thank you. So is that more outside rain, Clark?
Not necessarily. It's kind of, I like to actually just do even pressure.
Okay.
But I'll do a little more if he's kind of falling out or falling in. I'll use a more outside rain to kind of step him out, and inside rain to step him back in. But really what I'm trying to do is just put even pressure on both sides of his mouth.
Okay.
When you kind of go a little more on one than the other, it's more of a lateral flexion. And when you go both sides of the mouth and create the pressure, that's more of a longitudinal flexion. And that's kind of what we're after here, is for him to start letting go at the base of his neck. He just carries a lot of tension there. And so we're just trying to teach him by creating this pressure and then release him when he goes here to stretch. And you got to be really on it at this point, right? Because anytime he comes where you don't want him to be, you can't let that go unanswered. Because if he runs into pressure every time, he'll start to work. But if he finds a little freedom up there once in a while, then he's going to know that that works too. But we want to make sure every time he comes up a little higher than where I want him right now, I just create that a little bit of pressure.
So you like him reaching down like that?
Well, I don't
That's
like
important.
any horse to not reach down like that.
Yeah.
There's no time in any horse's career that they shouldn't be able to take a long stretch. When that gets lost, that's your basics.
You see that muscle on the bottom, the underside of his neck there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you're trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
We don't want that development there.
Yeah.
We want the development on the top line.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether it's a finished reining horse or an FBI Grand Prix dressage horse. You cannot ever lose the stretch. Once that's lost, your foundation's kind of gone. You should be able to put them long, low, and then bring them back up. So that's more kind of what I'm working with this guy. It's just his go-to place is to kind of come up and stack his neck a little bit. And I'm trying to get his go-to place to take the stretch. And then you have that feeling when you close up on the rein to ride more of a connection. It should always feel as though the horse is reaching to the bit.
Yeah, my man tends to pull.
What's that?
To pull.
They all do. So there's a little boundary that has to get set at some point. You see how he kind of put his head down, but then he kind of roots it down.
Yeah.
But you got to put up with a little bit of the bad while you're in a process. You know, if I was starting to correct that too quick, I might lose what I've gained, right? So sometimes you got to put up with a little bit at the beginning just to get your point across. You know, it's kind of what I call a rude stretch. Like he's going to go down, but he's going to go down, you know, with a little attitude.
So does Waverly.
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, because he's just not accepting the current.
She does the same thing.
Yeah.
I get so frustrated.
It's that. Like I think my first default is to pop him, but
I don't pop. I just hold.
Yeah.
And then she just pulls, and we're like pulling against each other, and it's like it's not working.
If I drop in my contact, then I jerk. So I've always got to be on the way. Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
I'm right from here. Oh, he's been pretty harness horse.
He was.
Oh, boy. That's hard for him.
vinyl barn, something he heard say.
Okay.
And I just kind of connected with them.
So was he trained to ride when you ride?
About a year. Yeah. So he's not, but he hasn't had proper training, like, horse training.
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
He's cute enough. Thinking about it.
A lot quicker than yesterday.
There you go. Yeah. I can't wait to see how hungry he does again. There you go.
Right.
Pretty. Pretty.
That's beautiful.
See how nice of a
Yeah.
cadence he's getting now, and he's got a little more reach in his stride.
He's got some nice impulsion.
Yeah, he is a really pretty little mover.
I'll kill him. If we can just. And he does tend to get distracted
Kind of see like he kind of want to go near that.
a lot quicker than yesterday.
Lot quicker, so it's just, he's just gonna click into it pretty fast. Yeah.
For kick trot and canter?
No, I'll kiss for the canter.
Okay.
Just clutch for the walk. And then kind of like a double clutch for the
Trot.
trot.
The driving horse,
Pardon me?
because it was a driving horse too, he listens to like,
Probably.
he knows CANCER.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't use the verbal, you know,
Yeah.
canter, all that. I just feel kind of dumb.
Foggy.
I mean, if people get worried because I'm not doing that, I just say, when you get home, cluck,
Yeah.
and then say the word.
Yeah.
And then kiss, and then say the word, and then transfer over real fast. It's not really that important. Not like we're gonna show this. I'm just kind of waiting on him, so he's just kind of holding there, but I like just transferring his weight a little bit. Just slow himself down, and then release him. good.
Yeah.
Not really arguing very much at all, you know. But it's like you gotta be really on point with him at this time because you gotta be there to answer it every time. You know, when he comes where he's not supposed to be, you can't allow that to not go unschooled, right? Because you just gotta know that, and it won't take this guy long because he's actually being pretty darn good. Yeah, you can see his driving skills.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
That's not my mom.
I said, but I kind of think I might like this guy. Boy. Okay. No more visiting. Boy. And hold that. And like a lot of it, you can watch it. He's
Yeah,
lost his.
he's looking at a different angle every
Yeah,
time.
he's lost his focus, and he's kind of like, well, what's this? That's kind of what I'm just telling you, that's just where his go-to deal is, you know? It's just something you're just going to have to keep working at. The quicker, you know, he gets responding to it, it'll be fixable without being noticeable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important to spend time in the walk. Because, you know, let's say you start cantering and you just can't get it. The best thing to do is slow it back down and go back to where you're successful with it. And then you can start moving yourself back up. I say if you get a shoot it here, I wouldn't get too anxious when I get the ball.
I want to see a gullet line like that. Yeah. Yeah. That is excellent. It's perfectly straight. Good. Now I want you to walk him through the suppling left rein. Suppling left rein. Driving him forward, supple. Perfect. Forward. Doesn't slow down. Take and give. And then light in the head when he starts to chew it. He lights up, you be nice. Right? Wait to the rein. Wait to the rein in your head. Yeah. Yeah. Goody, come on this side. That's right. I'm going to show you what the gullet line is, right? Okay? Yeah. So you're going to come around me.
Same spot, right?
Yep. And I'm kind of working it a little bit through the half halt, just to make his body quit pushing so forward. And then he starts to let go. Just kind of half halt here. Wait till he shifts him back a little bit. Half halt again. Sometimes, you know, he gets, you know, like a harness horse is used to hitting the harness with the shoulders.
Right.
And so that's kind of what you see him wanting to do. So I kind of hold that bit a little longer on until he kind of quit pushing with his shoulders so hard.
Gotcha.
And then I kind of release him again. But it's just what he's trained to do, you know. A pulling horse is trained to hit the harness.
All right. So you can see I don't have to flex him very far in the nose. This is right here.
Well, as soon as I can kind of make him slow back down, but pushing so hard, you know, it's not his fault. That's what he knows. And he knows it. They got to power up. They got to put some power in that to pull what's behind him.
What he was doing is like pushing out. And that's what he was pulling. So here,
I used to drive team horses, pulling, you know, like a stagecoach and covered wagon. And it was always nice when you had a pair of Belgians or Bertrons or something that knew how to work the harness. And boy, they'd hit that harness together and you could feel the power.
Oh, I bet.
you need to get another one of them.
down, Mark.
I would like to.
Take us some rides in it.
I'd like to, I always wanted to get a sixth hitch and drive 6 horses.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that with an old station.
You watch that Wells Fargo
Yeah.
movie? And
What?
they got those.
What?
They
Yes.
love them.
You know that, it started out harder than Wells Fargo.
What?
Started out harder than Wells.
Really? I didn't know that.
Nobody does. So, Harden, they started on the East Coast with Stagecoach. And it got successful, they started making a lot of money. And Wells, he says, this is out on the East Coast. And Wells goes, let's go west with this. I think we can make a fortune. And Hardens are known to be a little stubborn.
Is
And
that
he
your
goes,
family?
huh?
Yeah.
Your family?
Yeah. So they go, Hardin says, you want to go west? You go west. But you're on your own. So, yeah, he went west, and then up to Fargo. And Harnan died of tuberculosis at the age of 33, and that was the end of that. But if you go into the history books of the Wells Fargo, go back to the beginning. We're in the beginning. So I always thought it would be fitting if they would hire me to drive the stagecoach for them with the 6 horse head.
Wow. That's interesting, Mark.
Oh, it's crazy.
I had no idea.
No, it was. I always say that I had 3 opportunities to be a wealthy person in my life, and we blew it every time. That old stubborn streak in the heart we blew it.
Well, you're wealthy in more than
That's all right.
money.
Wealthy in what I did before.
Yeah.
Right. Making it right. Right there.
See, I like that transition. So you know, he didn't kind of come defensive and asked to move forward. He just kind of started moving forward and pushing off of his hind end.
There.
Yeah, fun, yeah.
Good. Now you like. Good. Now you start to push back from the
You just kind of start to get a little bit of a feel when it's like this, that it's starting to feel good to it.
I want one of these horses. Come on, Sandra. You hear me anymore? I'm serious. What are you saying?
Well, he can, like, you see him like at the very beginning of yesterday, and he just looked kind of neurotic, you know, like the short, choppy, stiff in there.
Head in
It was
air.
better at home because he was getting used to the area. But if the mare went out into the pasture, he was
starts to get your head in your
yeah.
head.
Helping him. So it's no fun, you know.
No.
Good. Now you trot. Just like that. Oh, now you gotta go those more forward.
The hardest horses in the world. They have so much training in the saddle. It's nice to refresh. Gosh, you're gonna have some nice lengthening trot.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're not
Wow, look at that.
push back with the
This is where he knows the word. That's where he shows off.
as you push it towards you. So you have both legs. Now you
Yep, there he is. Back to
now
the
you keep it.
And so a lot of that right there was me just not, at this moment, they're not really worried about his head and his stretches. I'm really looking at the body rocking back.
Yeah. Yeah. When he goes, yeah. There you go. Now you like that. He started to chew. Ah, now you go straight.
Yeah.
There you go. No, he's got a little allergy cough, but he's exhaling also, because that's a compliment to you. It's going to be easier to ride when you lift his back like that.
know, like, it's okay to kind of upset him a little bit, and let him go, because that's going to bring that out. And then you can really work with it. Just kind of bringing his shoulders back a little bit.
Don't let him up. Never. There. Let's see how you do when he's good. He likes it. A very good tail. I like it. Now he's going to create water dripping into his mouth. We want more not have dry mouth. Attention. Yes. Now, go away from here. We're going to turn on the forehead over here. Yes. Go on. Hands up. Push back a little bit. And then go. Thank you. Oh. Yes. Now, let's copy that. Pretty nice. Let me see like this man.
You're gonna try to get him to take off, but yet keep him back. Not let him run off.
Well, make him transition.
Yeah, not running off.
He wants to not pay attention, or he wants to wait for the canter to move.
Playful. He's down light. Push back. Now you're going to turn on the forehead from the wall. Flex left. Too soft. And off your leg. Too soft.
And I start to kind of make it my goal to sometimes upset the situation. And see how quick I can start to get him to come back.
Perfect.
Because you know, you're going to be needing lengthenings and extensions and stuff, and you're going to have moments that will make you get a little tense.
That's where I want you checking it and then lightening your hand. Playful. And then you push back. And then both hands go. Oh. And where does it look like?
You got about 20 minutes left, Mark.